Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Norgon 111, and welcome back to Void Stranger. I was joking with a friend earlier today that this game lives rent-free in my mind, in my brain. I was envious of the fact that he was streaming the game and he would play for just like 8 hours at a time and like stay up all night and just like continue playing and make progress. And I can't do that. I can only play for, I don't know, an hour or two at a time and record like maybe 3 hours of video in a day typically or whatever. And it just like, I get tired out or my brain gets tired out or my voice gets tired out. So in any case, yeah, I was joking with him that, you know, when I'm tired, then I go to bed. Whereas he stays up all night playing. And I said, I go to bed, and then I wake up an hour later and have to, like, jot down some notes of some new idea that I had, or check on my notes or review something. So yeah, that's this game's effect on me. And apropos of nothing, I went to bed tonight, and then I woke up about an hour later. And now here I am recording. Because it occurred to me that this is basement 255, and allegedly there is an exit. We might presume that that exit would go to basement 256. And there's two ways that we can advance from 255 to 256 using known mechanics. One of the ways is to walk through the exit stairs. The other way is to have one locust idle and fall in front of a smirking statue. And would you look at that? It just so happens that I happen to be holding one locust idol. Amazing how that wonderful coincidence happened to happen. Alright, here goes nothing. Is there a basement 256 that I can get to by smirking? Okay, there is not. It is still the case that it takes me here. Now, that having been said, it is also the case that this is one of... I'm sorry, stranger, what you're searching for can't be found here. Don't ask how I know. See, you say that, but you don't know what I'm looking for. One of the things I have in my notes as, like, at this point, like, can I even, like, call it cleanup? I'm not sure even what to call it. But the things that I still want to do that are in my notes include revisiting this area. So here I am. It does take a little bit of time to get to the head of, like, the woman at the end. Like, even saying the words is just weird. But I have a place that I want to go. And so I'll meet you there because it takes a little bit of time to get there. Alright, I have returned to this room. So I can't do anything, but if I knock up against it, it makes a sound and does that. I can't remember if I knocked on it 6 times and waited for 6 seconds before, because I can't remember if it made the same noise that the other statue thing did. But apparently not. That was the main thing I wanted to try. Is there anything else clever I can do? Well, I've tried a couple dozen things. Nothing seems to work. I just want to see if I happen to fall right after hitting her. Yeah, it does what it usually does. And then after that, we do go back into this cutscene. Okay, I don't want to do this right now, so I'll be back. So the next thing to try, I have reloaded again, is the way I intended to start this episode at the end of the previous episode, which is, I have HP, let's rest, and see if we get a different ending. So if I rest, I think we get the Freya cutscene stuff. So we're here wherever we are, and then the phone starts buzzing. I don't have control. Lilith answers. Hello? Freya? How'd you get this number? No, this was just a bit sudden. Has something happened? Yeah, I'm still here. Could I call you back? Thanks. So that's all the same. Then there's these puzzles. And if I wanted to see all of the cutscene information, I would, for example, move the head up here. But I've already watched that, and so I'm just going to skip through all this because I did not enjoy these jigsaw puzzles at all. Really the only puzzles in the game I didn't enjoy. And so we're going to walk past all this because we already know all the backstory. What I want to know now is... It says void. Wait. It says void in the lower left. That worries me. Is that because I'm in a dream sequence? Do I still have the devotion that I was hoping to have? Also, oh. And actually, you know what? I am just reloaded from a save file. What if I do that? Alright, picking up the question marks crashes the game. I kind of expected it might. I'll be right back. And when I came back, it's here. Okay. I'm going to rewatch this until we get to the judgment scene and see if that is any different. So I will meet you there. So here's what happened. I was pressing the button to advance through conversations, and then all of a sudden I realized that things were different. And so I restored my game save, and I'm doing this again. And so let's see. I ended up picking up the basement question mark, question mark, question mark. I presume the same thing would happen if we just fall off the world. Either way, we'll die. No. Okay, that just causes a death like that. So... yeah, then I think I'm going to get to the cutscene anyway, so I'm going to do this again. And so everything is the same in the first part, but I'm going ahead and bringing you all back just because this is kind of a fun scene. All of this. What? You could see the, something from underneath his coat when his hands go up. You do not belong here, little one. And then this scene is great. The music that goes with it is great. I still don't know exactly what to make of all that. It's also maybe noteworthy that the comet itself looks kind of like an eyeball. And eyeballs have played some roles. The strange creatures have eyeballs on them. The motionless hand monsters have eyeballs on them. Alright, let's go through this conversation again. Gray? Dots. What a time and place for you to show up. What took you so long? Did you start to miss me while I was gone? Guess the cat got your tongue. Again. You aren't still mad about the hair, are you? After cutting it, I tried dyeing it at one point as well. Too bad the color didn't stick properly. I'd have loved to see your reaction. Here we go again with that judgmental leer. I'm starting to recall why I left in the first place. No matter how hard I tried, I simply was never good enough for you. Almost as if you expected me to grow up into someone else entirely. Even though all I ever wanted was to become more like you. So why? Why didn't you tell me anything? If you resented me that much, you should have just ditched me when I was little. This is new. You would have saved us both the trouble. Now she looks really angry. Just say something, you old hag. She's like ready to fight. Don't act like after all these years, you don't have anything to say for yourself. I thought you're better than this. You're the strongest person I've ever known. Okay, so like a different Lily persona conversation there. Then we get the same set of scenes. And here is she sewing the Halloween outfit. I'm not sure if it's the right age there. So that was a little bit different. It is the case I've seen, I'm still mad at you, from watching other people's playthroughs, that a variety of the cutscenes have small differences based on player choices and outcomes. I just wish you were here to hear that. For example, in the very first cutscene that I saw back in episode 1, where Gray fights the princess in a silly RPG thing when the princess is a demon monster or whatever with 9999 hit points, it is the case that you can win that battle or lose that battle if you play especially well or poorly. I did somewhere in the middle, and then the princess demon got bored or whatever, and that was the end of the fight. But I've seen people have like different little conversation, 2 or 3 sentences that are different after the battle. Goodbye. So I guess this is another small difference, but I wonder if it's because we have HP, Mom. And so, will this change any of this? I do have control, right. And I know what to do. Sealed envelope on the table. It's addressed to you. Would you like to open it? We tear it open. Inside the envelope is a small pendant, along with a handwritten letter. Got the achievement anytime you get the pendant. Should you read it? And now we're going to get judged. Will we be judged differently? This is the thing I wanted to know. This was my intended start to the episode, and now we're finally here. For those defects, and for no other evil, we are now lost and punished with just this. We have no hope, and yet we live in longing. Alright, guess what? You're going to be one short. It seems we're one short. What happened to them? Beats me. What an interesting development. Stranger. Making it this far should be commendable. This is going to be followed by a but. But this cannot detect a strong devotion within you. So this implies to me that there's something more devoted than simply gaining our HP at the end that we would need to do in order to something. Interesting. And gonna have to go rewatch episode 53, I think. Under normal circumstances, an aimless soul would slowly fade away at the depths of this compound, yet here you stand before us. The situation's quite unorthodox. Nevertheless, we can't have you remain here as long as you leave in peace. This is willing to make a contract, so I believe all of this is the same. All right. So And as an aside, Lily is wearing the pendant. So whatever super powerful being gave us back to the world to have a conversation with Gray, we woke up back in the real world, opened up the envelope, pulled the pendant out of it. Now we're wearing it, and somehow we're back here and being judged. Which I have called out before when it's previously happened. Or in episode 54 summary or whatever, I believe. But that's still true here. So she has the pendant, and like she kind of had HP. The thing is, like we were void in the dream. I need to check if when I completed the final puzzle in the dream, did I ever complete the final puzzle in the dream? I'm going to have to go review that video as well. If it immediately switched to this cutscene, just like it did when I picked up basement question mark, and it switched to the cutscene. Well said, stranger. So all of that ending was the same again. I did go back and review video. It is the case that Zero does not have beeps and boops in his non-helmeted human form here. Alright, so there's Zero and Sif. And then I just want to highlight one particular sentence here as well. Still keeping an eye on them? What are you talking about, says Sif, who does have beeps when she talks. Your lousy disguise may have fooled Dis. But I know you've been watching over them for a long time now. Or did that child end up here by sheer accident, only to finally meet their mother? That's what Ad would have wanted. I owed it to them. Besides, I only gave them a small push. Still a funny line. Sure. Don't worry. Your secret is safe with me. Okay, here comes the line, I believe. I've kept my end of the bargain. This seems to imply some kind of contract between Sif and Zero. Furthermore, Sif's basement appeared to have him... I keep wanting to call Sif a him. Appeared to have them constructing a bunch of statues. Like, it looked like a workshop. And Sif also has been the architect of many of the events that got us here. Zero, later on, why were you so interested in the princess? This may sound silly, but she reminded me of someone. Zero seems to be the one who was interested in the princess and seems to have asked Sif to go and do things in the Void Tower or in the world in order to affect the events that are unfolding as part of Zero's research. And so Sif's motivations are still very unclear to me. And so that's one of the things I eventually need to tease apart in the lore. Hopefully there will be more. Now, stranger, have you finished your research? Presumably this will all be the same as well. I'm going to watch through it one more time, just in case there are any differences or any new things that I discover. And did I mention that while I did find an angel or a demon that had ADD in their name, I did not find one with DIS in their name. But let me just rewatch this again. It seems that the Manusya of this planet were nearly wiped out. This planet, is that referring to Earth? Or is it referring to somewhere in outer space where we're living in a simulation or something? I'm not sure. I feel like it's probably Earth, but I'm not sure. And he does go out the door again this time, as opposed to flying through the ceiling. And I think everything else played out the same way. Alright. At this point, I think I'm going to pull up my notes and just read to you my list of what I have labeled as other big outstanding things to do in my notes. So, basement 89... underneath that is where Mon's basement was, and there was a seal that was broken, or was the broken seal below Gore's hideout? And then the other one had a rock that we talked to that said there used to be a seal here or something, but I have no idea what the seal is about. Basement 223 in Sif's basement, in addition to the statues he was constructing, there was a rock that we talked to that said, kill what remains of the traitors and go back to Brain 000 and something something. So that's definitely a to-do. Basement 227, making the brand. I am figuring I'm going to get some hint about what brand I need to make there at some point in the future. Basement 30, trying to kill Tails' tail. If I can get rid of that one ad statue, then presumably I can get around the back of Tail and try to hit her tail with my sword, which is a thing that I think might do something. Basement 53 brand is the only one of the 6x6 basements in the normal areas of each of the Void Lords, other than 227, that I have not figured out what is the shape of the brand. And I have some new ideas that may or may not be any good that I guess I should go ahead and throw up some screenshots. So I had in my notes a long, long time ago, I was just watching some of my old videos and I commented on just kind of the weird geometry of some of the levels. And in my notes, I said, I wonder if like the levels fit together, like if you had screenshots of all the levels, if they fit together in a grid and somehow, like a weird wall off of one connects to a weird wall on the other. And then I was watching someone play through the use tail section, and Tail's tail stretches on many, many different basements. In fact, Tail appears on basement 30, but then on basement 31, 32, 35, 36, 37, 38, 42, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. You can also see Tail's tail winding around in the levels. And so I took screenshots of all of those, and then I was looking at the screenshots in my folder on Windows and had the thought about stitching them together again. And so I tried just stitching together those tail screenshots, and so I'm probably showing some screenshots on the screen now of what I did, and I kind of don't love any of it, and even if it does fit together the ways that I'm trying to piece it together, I don't know what to do with it. There's the text that like the Tail the traitor connects the brand, at least when they were still alive, although I'm not sure how that works. I don't remember exactly the phrasing. And so I feel like Tail's tail is maybe supposed to be a hint of how I'm supposed to draw something on basement 53, but I haven't figured it out yet. Still not sure if there's anything to do with the broken girl head thing that we've already seen earlier this episode, where I can bang on her and like little particles come flying out of her head, but that's all I can do. Oh, right, that's something I want to do. That's something we can do next. I'm going to come back to that one in just a moment. Sif's human friend, or his hallucination, the girl with the freckles and the dark hair. Like, I want to understand more of that. As well as Sif's conversation with Mon before the fight had some interesting bits. Before Sif killed the giant centipede Mon. One of the things was Mon might tell you what he was up to if we gave him a bunch of locusts, and Sif had no interest in that, but I wonder if Sif had 99 locusts, if we might have been able to buy more conversation with Mon before fighting and killing him. And I want to understand more of Sif's conversation when Sif actually has a dream on basement 254. I want to revisit that. The music lyrics that we saw in the original Grey ending, which I think was in episode 13. I've gone back and reread and thought about a few times, but still can't necessarily make heads or tails of. I want to witness my own brand, which I think happens when I am, at least if I am Grey and Void, when I reach basement 224 and get to the bad ending with the music. I think somewhere around there, like, I see my own brand. And I want to see what letters are actually carved in the brand. I still want to try making different brands at different locations rather than always making Ad's brand on basement 23. Could I make someone else's brand on basement 23 is something I'm wondering. And then Lilith's basement 255 that we got to yesterday. Is it possible to kill Lev and then get to the exit of that basement I'm not sure, but I am still interested in that. And that, I think, is currently my list, except for one thing, and I'm going to go do that one thing next, so I'll see you in a moment. So I've reloaded this save state again, and the one other thing I want to explore is what happens when you go here. So we end up in a fatal error, and then there was somewhere like left and up that we saw a figure. I saw it with gray. I don't think I'm seeing it now. But also there's like the sound somewhere. And interesting, I can press the button, but it just says question mark. It doesn't actually take an action. But there was like a giant moaning orb in the void out here somewhere. And I thought it made a noise, but maybe it only exists... Maybe it only exists in Gray's version. Maybe it only exists... under certain circumstances. Yeah, because Gray also... The last time I did it with her, I was like seeing like strange insect bugs as well. And Lilith sees nothing here. So it's possible... It's possible there's still a passage of time element. Also, this is not Lily's normal walking animation, is it? She's like floating in the void now, I think, maybe. At least based on her front-facing and back-facing sprite. Just the way her legs are moving. I don't remember if I noticed that difference with Gray before, either. So... just to experiment with it again, I think I'm going to pull up a Gray save and try to do the same thing. So I'll be back. So here is one of my most advanced Gray saves. If I do this... Fatal error, BR null. When did I actually see... Oh, I hear the ambience. I hear it here. And it's louder here, so I was going straight up, I guess? It's definitely getting louder in this direction. I don't see the strange creatures, though. I'll have to review exactly when it was that I witnessed them and under what conditions. And I can't tell now... I think Gray's walking animation is usual. I might be getting farther away from it again. I think it is getting quieter. So I might have to navigate by sound. So if I go farther to the left, I think it's getting quieter. If I go farther to the right, I think it's getting louder. Still pretty loud. And it's definitely louder up here. Now I'm not so sure. I think this is the loudest it's been. Not sure. There's something out here. I want to find it. Aha! Okay, here's one of the bugs. And it runs away when I try to get close to it. So I don't know... And it seems quieter now. I don't know if there was a way for me to try to interact with it. And now everything's gotten quieter. So I think I'm going the wrong way. So the bugs do exist. But there wasn't the shadow who was leading me directly to the orb. Okay, there's a bug again. Let's chase him. He went downwards. but also kind of leftwards. But it's not as loud over here. Alright. Rats. What was the condition that I saw like a shadowy figure that I was able to chase? I guess I should go look up that video. Yeah, and it's definitely the case that if you get far enough away, the sound goes away. But it's very difficult to perceive all the loudness differences, in my opinion, to use solely that to navigate. And the bugs, presumably, are when I'm in the vicinity. There's another bug. You went up. From here, I went up again, right, down. Like, I could just start doing like a spiral search path from here, actually. It's not a bad idea. Assuming that I am in like a continual space. Hey, there's another bug. Okay, hey buggy. You're going off to the right. And you also went kind of down. It is getting louder over here to the right. So that's a good sign, I think. I go one more down, and then I'm going to hang a right and then start going back up. Okay, found it. So, a giant carcass. A dull howl escapes from its decaying cracks. It won't stop. This also has a bing. And just like the woman's head, also seems to be like cracked open at the top. Are these two things somehow analogous? Are all of the purpley squiggly bits somehow related to the bugs that we saw that had like weird eyeballs on them? What would happen if I bang this 6 times? And then wait for 6 seconds? And is there anything else clever that I can think of to try on this particular screen? I can figure out all the boundaries to where I can talk to this thing. Giant carcass, dull howl. So you can bang on it from any direction. Oh! I'm just behind it, okay. You can't see me right now, but I am just banging one by one against all the back tiles. And yeah, I can even talk to it from the back. What else could I do here, and what does this mean? This could be... We saw the mass, the dark star, ejected from the comet that went hurtling through space, through some planets, and then crashed into Earth. Maybe this is that thing. And whatever escaped from it... Back when Gray first reaches basement 255, it has a weird spacey look in the background, and then there was something that I thought was like a rug with a mirror on it, but it could also be interpreted as like a single-cell organism, like a paramecium or something, with like a mitochondria in it or something. There's definitely with Sif's dream, like the notion of wiping out the life forms on the planet and then creating new ones, and so maybe that's what this thing did, and maybe even humans were created by whatever this is. I don't know. It's very loud here. If I exit the stream and then come back, it is still here, so this is like a particular coordinate. That's somewhere that's pretty far up and right. Could I witness any other bugs nearby? or anything else that's nearby. Once again, I'm just going to try to keep in mind, I think it's like 2 to the left of me now. I just want to visit some other screens in like a 5x5 region around it. I think it's 2 above me right now. And see if I can witness any other bugs or any other things. I think it's 2 to the right of me right now. But I'm not witnessing anything else in this area. And so I think it's just over here. It is. Okay, so it is in a fixed position. If I just bang on it until it gets louder and louder and louder. Well, I don't know that it's getting any louder per se. And I don't know that anything's happening. It won't stop. And I can't use my void rod. And I don't know that there's anything else clever I can come up with to do on this screen. Okay, so this was the other mystery I wanted to investigate. I'll have to review old video to figure out why it was that I once saw a spooky figure that I did not see this time as Gray or moments ago as Lilith. And I can't recall if Sif has ever come down here to see this. So these are all things I can think about before next time. In any case, this was kind of a crazy haphazard episode, but that's what happens when I wake up in the middle of the night and have ideas I want to test. And I worry that there'll be more like that because I'm running out of normal gameplay things to try. So in any case, I'm going to say, I hope as always, that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Void Stranger. For now, bye-bye.